The Supreme Court's observations and judgment today are met with mixed opinions on the same-sex marriage case. We have one of the lawyers for the petitioners with us, Rohin Bhatt. Thanks very much for joining us on NDTV. So, your first thoughts, mixed reactions, what is your opinion?
No, I think the judgment today has been an extremely disappointing one. The Supreme Court has abdicated all of its duties towards queer citizens. The court has unanimously, all 5 judges have held that there is no fundamental right to marry. I think once you do away with what was the main prayer in the petition, nothing remains. Everything else that the court has said is nothing new that was not already said in Naftage, Nalsa or the Madras High Court judgment in Sushma's case. So what we are seeing today is nothing but a lot of judicial platitudes with no actionable rights that precipitate in the favor of the queer community.
So nothing new has been said, you say. All the observations that the Chief Justice of India made, in the beginning we thought they were going in the direction of giving the queer community the right that the community had been demanding. That's the sense that we were getting in the beginning, but that's not how it went.
Right. Well, let me say that it's not that they've said nothing new. The operative portion passed guidelines, and those guidelines are nothing new. When the judgment started, a lot of us were moved to tears because we thought, well, it's going our way, because the Chief Justice walked in and said, we are only thinking how far we are going.
Yeah.
So we all assumed that at least there would be, if nothing, a fundamental right to marry, which was a common prayer across petitions, which was a common prayer in spite of who the petitioner was. All 50 petitioners asserted their fundamental right to marry, which the court has unanimously rejected. So it's a judicial punch in the gut, so to speak, of the queer movement. But we will rise, we will rage, and we will love harder, and we'll come out stronger.
I hope you do that, but I want to ask you one more question about the legal aspect of it, the legality of it. The Supreme Court, as we heard, they largely were of this opinion that it's not our prerogative to be able to take this decision. It's something that the Parliament has to decide, that the government has to decide, and there's a clear division of power. How do you respond to that? That they are essentially saying that this is not something we could have done. It's not it's not a power that we have.
What we were seeking is nothing that the court has not done before. In Vishakha, for example, in the 1990s, the court laid down extensive guidelines on how to deal with sexual harassment cases at workplace. And that was subsequently manifested into the Prevention of Sexual Harassment at Workplace Act. So this is not something that we were asking the court to do. We were asking nothing but for our right of equality. The court has relegated us to an apathetic executive and an unsympathetic legislature. Queer people are once again left in limbo with nowhere to go.
And about that argument that have been, the opinions, the observations that have been given, the significantly landmark observations, if we talk about, they're also in the minority, even if we talk about the bit on adoption and the bit about recognizing the civil union of queer couples. Both of them are in minority. So I want to ask you this, that pre this judgment and post this judgment, does anything change for the common queer person?
No. If you want a frank answer to that, the answer is no. In Navtej Singh Johar, for example, guidelines were passed by the Supreme Court. Nothing's come out of it yet. Actually, on the eve of hearing, somebody filed an RTI application and the Indian Express did a breaking story whereby the government showed that there's been no action on this. It's been 5 years now. So on ground, nothing changes for queer couples. We'll be relegated to second-class citizenship in a brazen violation of the constitutional promise of equality.
And you were expecting a lot more than this?
We were expecting a lot more, yes.
All right. Thanks very much for speaking to us. And as you said, your fight will continue. Wish you good luck for that. Thanks very much. So as you heard, that largely the community is disappointed, and all they have to say is that we expected more and we are yet again left in a limbo. That's what the queer community here at the Supreme Court of India is saying after the judgment was pronounced. In New Delhi, with camera person Rakesh Singh, Priyanshi Sharma for NDTV.